talk now. This MMA, what we talking about? Yeah, you tuned into the pod now. Gonna be hard for you to stop now. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in.
Welcome back to another episode of Caged In. I'm your host, Chris DiCarlo. Today, we got a very special guest making his return to the show. It is UFC Flyweight Mitch Raposo. How are we doing today, my man?
Doing great, man. Just another step, another day. It's a fight week, enjoying the process until Saturday night.
Yes, sir, man. You are a few days out from UFC 314, where you're taking on Sumudaerji, who is 16-7 as a pro. This one goes down in the Sunshine State, Miami, Florida. Before we talk about this one, man, I do want to dive into your UFC debut a little bit, if that's cool with you.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
All right, man. You went in there at UFC 302 versus Andre Lima. Immediately hit with some adversity because Lima misses weight on the scales by quite a few pounds. Once you guys became aware of that, man, what was the immediate reaction like from you? And then what was the negotiation process like?
Yeah, I mean, I was at I just weighed in, and so whenever I like to weigh in, after I start hydrating and stuff, I love to go to like a local like coffee shop or something like that. Get a coffee, and start settling in. And Mick Maynard called my manager, coach Tyson Chartier. And I could just see the look on Tyson's face. I kind of already knew. I was like, yeah. And I remember just telling him, I was like, listen, like, I don't care how much he's over. I was mouthing him while he was on the phone. Like, I'm fighting no matter what, because I didn't want that opportunity to get taken from me. And because sometimes if they're over by too much, they'll like start, they won't even let you fight. So, because he was over by like 4 pounds, 5 pounds if you count championship weight. And so we immediately booked it back to the hotel. I remember like yesterday, I walked into like the room where everybody was for the weigh-ins. I saw Mick Maynard and Sean Shelby. I booked it directly to them, and I said to Mick, I said, "Hey man, I will sign whatever I need to sign to get whatever. Like, I am fighting no matter what. Like, please, like, just let the fight happen." And he said, "No, we're good. We're good. You just, as long as you're okay with it, and you have to sign something, boom." And that's kind of how it went down. It wasn't really, got a little bit extra money for it. I'd much rather win, but it was just, part of the process. It is what it is. But yeah, no, I was game. There was no negotiation or any of that shit, man. Like, I'm especially, my UFC debut in Jersey, like, I'm ready to fight.
For sure, man, 100%. You ultimately lost that fight via split decision. Did you think that you had done enough, once the judges were reading the scorecards off? Did you think that you might get your hand raised?
No, I didn't, because I thought I won the second round because I landed more than him and I took him down. In the third round, I felt like I was definitely winning. I felt like I was taking over the whole fight, but then he dropped me with a leg kick. Yeah, like, I had a pretty significant injury from that fight. I haven't really said it, man. I fought fucking 3 rounds with a fractured fib. You know what I'm saying, in my leg, and and I don't, man. Who knows when it happened? I'm sure it was one of the leg kicks. I'm guessing it was one of the early ones, or we went shin to shin or something. But yeah, my leg kind of just gave out, so I kind of knew right there I was like screwed. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like I was starting to do really good and take over the fight, and then he just hit me with like one last leg. I think it was the last leg kick he hit me in the fight too, and my leg completely just like buckled, and I couldn't, but I was good. I popped right back up, but my leg kind of just like, kind of screwed the day, So I knew I didn't do enough. I was surprised to get the split. He won, in my opinion, 2 rounds to 1. But man, if you look at the 4 or 5 pounds weight miss, you fucking guy poking me in my eye 2 times, grabbing the cage when I took him down. I mean, Andre's he's a slick guy.
Yeah, for sure, man. So he was hitting you with those leg kicks hard. That's what kind of caused the break there. It wasn't anything that you were coming in with. No type of previous injuries happened in fight.
Yeah, I don't know when. Like I said, I don't know when it happened. I feel like it happened in the second round. I didn't really feel anything. It wasn't really like it wasn't like an actual break. It was just like a fracture in like it was my fibula, and yeah, it wasn't really. I couldn't really tell or anything. Obviously, my leg was in a lot of pain, but no, it happened in the fight. It kicks hard. Kicks fucking hard.
Yeah, man, they looked like those ones looked really hard, man. So I'm not surprised to hear that you got a little banged up from it. Now that you've had time to watch the fight, reflect on it, what do you wish that you had done differently to kind of maybe get yourself the win on that night?
I definitely went in with like a little more of a like hesitant like mindset. Like, we had a game plan, and in the back of my head, I really didn't know if I like had the conditioning to like really implement the game plan and to really wrestle more, mix it up with a guy like that, because you have to. Like, I feel like I was doing fine on the feet, maybe he was edging me a little bit. But I feel like I was landing good shots, and then it was just more like in the back of my mind, I didn't want to like spend my gas tank and then be a sitting duck in front of a guy who's that good on the feet. It's like I feel like I gotta have my movement, I gotta have my style. So I felt like if I wrestled too early, too hard on a week's notice, I didn't really know what I had. And
Right.
that's the last time I'll ever underestimate myself, man. I feel like I'm capable. I know what I'm capable of, and I feel like that's the biggest difference between that one and this one.
Hell yeah, man. Did anything about Lima's game surprise you when you were in there, or was everything kind of status quo for you? Kind of expected everything that he was throwing at you.
Yeah, man, I thought it was he usually like if you even watch his last couple fights, maybe the Felipe fight, he kind of fought similar to how he fought me, but the last fight against Daniel Barraz, man, he freaking just went at the dude
Hmm.
and just beat the living shit out of him. Body shots, hard leg kicks, but I do understand my style. It's hard to do that too. Like I'm all over the place. I'm moving. I'm feinting.
Hmm.
Trying to give different looks so they can't set up on me and things like that. So I wasn't. I was more surprised it wasn't. He wasn't as like coming forward as much, but I also feel like that's probably it was very smart on his part. He kind of outsmarted me, man. He really did. Lima's a beast. Like he's really good. Like you know what I'm saying. He's 4-0 in the UFC. He's doing his thing, and it definitely stings, but it is what it is, man. I learned my lessons.
Definitely. And now that you have that first UFC experience under your belt, does it give you an added sense of confidence and preparation going into the Saturday night?
No, absolutely, man. Like, especially the opportunity that I have in front of me on this big of a card, against a vet, who's kind of on his way down, I would say. I feel like it's just a huge opportunity for me to go out there and really, take this, especially from a guy like this who is coming off 3 losses. He has good experience. He's definitely super dangerous. Definitely a tough body type for the division, 5'9", lanky guy. But he obviously has some holes, right?
Mm.
So I feel like it's just up to me to go out there, do what I do, and this time I just feel a lot more comfortable. It feels like a normal fight week. I feel like I'm fighting at freaking Cage Titans, dude. It's like, it's a lot. I surprised myself a lot about how big I thought the moment was gonna be. And I feel like I'm so comfortable here. I feel like it's just normal, so it's just go out there and just fight like any other fight.
For sure, man. Do you think that has a lot to do with the experience of the guys that you have around you, like Tyson and those guys? Are they able to kind of put you through like simulations or whatever to help you get ready for these moments, or is it kind of more stuff that you're processing on your own?
No, I definitely. I mean, I've done so many fight weeks with Rob, and even Calvin, in
Mhm.
Canada and stuff like that. Like, I feel like that definitely prepared me, and that's a huge shout out to Tyson because Tyson's been a guy that's always, whenever it made sense for like the camp, or if he was fighting a guy like similar to me or Rob was or something, he would always include me. Always, they would always fly me out and bring me for the camp and stuff. So I feel like that was a huge thing for me. Like now, I feel like fight week is just so normal for the UFC, which is just not really what I expected. This early into my UFC career, but that's just the work that Tyson had me doing when I was younger.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Let's get into UFC 314 a little bit, man. You are going in there versus Sumudaerji, who is 16-7, very experienced guy. I know you just kind of talked about him a little bit, but what do you know about him, and then how do you feel about him as an opponent?
Yeah, man, it's a great opponent. Tough opponent. His back's kind of against the wall, just like mine's kind of back against the wall. Um, I feel like his style could be dangerous if I make one little mistake or I get a little stagnant. You know what I'm saying? But I just the way I fight, and I feel like like I'm pretty stern on my game. I don't really stray away from it. And I feel like it's just me going out there doing what I do, giving different looks, and just definitely my foot on the gas a lot more this time. Really get I know what it takes to win. Just doing those things of that extra punch, that extra takedown in these rounds. These rounds go fast, man. So it's just that was probably the biggest surprise I learned too is how fast the fight went. I was like, what the like I thought I was gonna like I don't even know about how much shape I'm in. Like I took the shit on a week's notice, like and then boom, 15 minutes gone, and it's like,
Mm.
what the fuck? And I feel like I could have done so much more, and that's the biggest thing on my mind, man. It's just going out there and doing more, like it's what he's doing is not, doesn't really matter, like he's a lanky guy. He's good at what he does. He's going to try to lull me into a slow fight where he can just pick at me and try to find a good shot. And I got to just fight my fight, give him different looks and push the pace.
For sure, man. UFC 314 is an absolutely stacked event, man. There's no hiding that. It's also in Miami, a major city, with potential to be one of the top cards of the year. Were you aware of how stacked this card was going to be when you signed on, and how excited are you to help kick this fight night off on the early prelims on Saturday?
Yeah, I was aware, like, somewhat that there was already rumors going around that Volk was going to main event, and that was enough for me because Volk's my guy and he was my
Mhm.
coach on the show and stuff. So that was like such a cool like thing. I was like, wow, like it really felt like meant to be. It really feels like damn, like my first UFC win is going to be on a card with a guy like this and city like this, and like I'm just grateful. I'm blessed. To, like I could be freaking having two fights in the Apex, dude. Like
Yeah.
like a lot of guys, man. Two, you know what I'm saying? They have like first like couple fights, like it's like on my first two UFC fights, I'm on big cards, and like so that's just something to be grateful, to take that, like wow, you know what I mean, and just be happy about, and it's just an opportunity, right? It's a huge opportunity, it's a bigger opportunity, and just more, more kind of like chips on my side, you know what I mean, when I win this and to take home.
100%, man. Your opponent, Sumudaerji, is the most experienced opponent that you fought in your career so far. What do you bring to this fight that he probably hasn't seen yet in all of his experience?
Speed. I mean, the speed that I have, power that I have, and I can mix it up like as good as anybody. And if you watch me as an amateur, you know that. And I kind of got away from it for a long time because I just felt like the UFC don't want to see that shit, especially when you're on the regional scene. Like you got to knock people out, you got to finish people. If you're not finishing guys on the regional scene, you're not going to finish guys in the UFC. So I just felt like I got away from my style and my wrestling. I feel like the last guy he's fought, like somewhat similar to me, is Tim Elliott.
Hmm.
I feel like I'm a young, hungry version, to more crisp version, faster. I feel like I'm more athletic. Tim's an OG, then I feel like I can bring that style into this fight, but just, what I'm saying, at a different level as far as what I'm my age and just my experience like coming into this fight and just my hunger. But I would say Tim Elliott's the closest guy that he's fought like me.
Interesting, man. Interesting. On your season of The Ultimate Fighter, I know you just touched on a little bit. You were on Team Volk. How poetic is it now that you're fighting on a UFC pay-per-view that's being headlined by Volkanovski? And I know you guys kind of met up a little bit during fight week. How was it like seeing him again? And did you guys catch up a little bit? What was the interaction like there?
Dude, it was awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like just seeing him. He was one of the first people I saw. I got to the host hotel and I was starting to do the sign the posters and stuff. And I ran into Frank and Joe, Frank Hickman and Joe Lopez, and they were my coaches on the show. And you know what I'm saying? I was so close with them. I haven't seen them in a long time. They're in Australia and Frank's in Thailand and stuff. So seeing them again, and then I saw Volk just coming around the corner, and first thing he did was point at me. You know what I mean? And it was just really cool to see him, and it was like he had so much belief in me before I even believed in myself. I feel like I haven't really believed in myself to this degree since till this fight. Even that Lima fight, I think I blame it more on the short notice. Like I really didn't know what I had going. I was supposed to fight out the Contender Series, so at the time I was working a lot. Like I wasn't really in the gym as much, and I kind of just didn't. I underestimated myself, and I feel like that's been a a bad habit that I've had at this level. Well, I also feel like this is the first time where I've had a fair opportunity. I'm experienced. I've been here before. I know what it's like. And I'm also just tired of coming so close and fucking losing at this level. It's like I've never been beat up at this level. Nobody's ever come in, oh, Mitch doesn't belong here. It's just more Mitch is like hesitating a little bit. Mitch has got to go a little bit more. And there's a bunch of different factors. It's not just, belief. It was also the short notice and not really knowing what I had. But obviously that goes into the belief, right? Where
Mhm.
this one, I know exactly what I'm coming with and I know exactly how I'm going to fight on Saturday. And let's see if he can stop it.
And what can the fans in Miami and the many that are going to be tuned in around the world expect from your return to the UFC Octagon, man, on Saturday night?
It's a different version of me, like an older version when I was younger, but way more polished and the stuff that I can do now with the striking and the confidence I have in my boxing along with what made me so good when I was younger. It's like I feel like it's like a 2.0 version of me. I feel like I've really dialed in what I need to do to win, especially at this level. And I've learned what it takes. Like it's the little things in the UFC, man. It's you got to stay locked for 15 minutes. It's complete focus for 15 minutes, and it's execution. It's executing what you need to do. These guys, at the highest level of professional sports, they are where they're at is because they execute when it matters. Nobody cares that I can execute in the practice room, in the sparring room. It's when I need to execute when it matters the most. And I feel like that's the biggest thing. People are going to see, 2.0. That's it. And I really feel like I did the work and I pushed myself. I made myself uncomfortable in the gym. I lost in the gym, put myself in rounds where I'm exhausted and I'm tired and I'm going with a guy like fucking Patchy Mix and these guys and forcing myself to lose, man. Because, the more you suffer in the training and you push yourself to that level, the easier fight night's going to be. And I feel like I really dialed that in for this one.
For sure, man. I know you spent a lot of time out in Vegas this camp, kind of mixing up with some of those high level guys out there in the UFC training facilities and whatnot. How was your time out in Vegas while you were out there, man? And what did you learn most from this session?
Yeah, man, it was a good three like hard weeks in Vegas before I flew out to Miami. And I added Jimmy Gifford to my camp. And he's an OG. He's from Boston, but he's been in Vegas for like the last 20 or so years. And he's one of the most famous like boxing coaches in Vegas as far as MMA goes. And he's worked with so many UFC champions, Joey Benavidez, TJ Dillashaw. The guy's worked with everybody.
For sure.
And I feel like he really complimented my style. And also, the bodies, man, the body. I also have Eric Nixick, obviously, who's needs no
Yeah.
introduction. You know what I'm saying? The dude is one of the best top 5 coaches, top 3 coaches in MMA.
Thanks.
And I've always like had a good relationship with Eric, but I feel like this time, at Extreme where I did half my camp, I really used the bodies that I needed. Mo Miller, who's a stud, he was on the Contender Series, who won on the Contender Series, stud wrestler, lanky body type, gave me a really good look for this camp. And I just feel like there's just the bodies and then Jimmy Gifford coming in and really fine tuning my game. And then Tyson's the head guy where Tyson put me in a really good spot before I went to Vegas, with the game plan, getting me in really good shape. So I feel like things just, it's a good mesh, it's definitely something I'm going to do for future camps.
Hell yeah, man. I love to hear that. And then after you get your first UFC win, are you planning to stick around in the arena and catching Volk's main event? Is that something that you guys are allowed to do after your fight?
We used to have like the green room, and it was like this notorious room before COVID that everybody would hang out in because it's sold out, so there's nowhere to sit.
Yeah, of course.
So now I think they kind of just like we leave. But I'm not really mad at that either, dude. Because honestly, after you fight, you just want to eat. Like you
Yeah, I
want to eat
bet.
something good, bro. Like you want to like relax. Like so, I'm not like too mad about it. I'll catch it at something, but hopefully I'll catch him after at the after party or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, man. Mitch, I appreciate you taking the time, man. Oh, one last question, actually. Since you are going to be in Miami, I know you're a New England guy. Are you going to be repping any Miami gear? Maybe the weigh-ins or around fight week at all? You got any Miami gear that you brought with you that you're going to be rocking around the city?
Well, actually, they give us some good stuff, man. Like a fight week, bro, we're spoiled. Like they really give us like Venom really hooks us up,
Mm-hmm.
and the UFC, it's not Venom, but the UFC gave us like for Jersey, they gave me this like really cool bomber jacket, like 302. You know what I'm saying? It's one of the
Hell yeah.
best things I've ever gotten for like a fight week and stuff. And this time it's like a soccer jersey, and it's like a
Nice.
Miami type like soccer jersey, and that's really cool, man. And I think that even the fight kits for weigh-ins are gonna be like Miami Vice type thing, so
Sick.
it's gonna be sick, bro.
Hell yeah,
It's
man.
just
I'm
that's it.
a I'm a Dolphins fan living in New England, so I make the trip out. I make the trip out to Miami every year for a game, man. So enjoy the city out there, man. I know it's a blast, and enjoy yourself while you're there for sure. Are you leaving right away, or are you flying right home?
Yeah, I'll be leaving like Sunday afternoon. I think my flight's at like 2, so I'll probably try to hit the beach before I leave.
Hell yeah, man. Mitch, I appreciate the time, brother. Thanks for coming on. I'll talk to you soon. Best of luck on Saturday night.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Got down for the count and he can't even talk now. This MMA, what we talking about? Yeah, you tuned into the pod now. Gonna be hard for you to stop now. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in.